Hello, I am live on YouTube and I'm gonna play Doom Patrol while I talk about some random crap. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the rocksteadys next game, which is gonna be Superman. Here's what I think is going to happen. It's not my ideal plot, but this is what I think would be good to happen. The game starts with Brainiac puts a giant dome over the city. I'm gonna try and fight them all with just a pistol. And it's gonna be like in the Arkham style games, all the villains will be involved in the story somehow. They're gonna get the original actors from the cartoon. Like the guy who played Toyman and Parasite and Lex in that cartoon did a good job. Same with Metallo. Obvious, but they're going to up their power so they're more like the comics, which I think would be cool. I preferred Metallo's abilities in the comics. Like his arm can turn to a chainsaw, and it can shape into any weapon possible, like a hammer or whatever. How do all the villains think? Well, okay, when Toyman detects that Brainiac is going to come and capture the city, he plans to rescue a bunch of children. He rescues a bunch of children and kidnaps them in his hideout. And he's teamed up with the prankster because that character is underused in the comics, and I like the golden age dynamic of his two weakest villains working together. And I like their tagline: "If alone we can annoy Superman, if alone we can annoy him, together we'll destroy him." So they're able to kidnap all the kids because you're distracted trying to fight Brainiac at the dome. You see on a security camera giant teddy bears and toy soldiers and things kidnapping children from their homes and bringing them away. You go into the room to investigate what happened. You find a doll on the shelf, and you speak into and when you pick up the doll, you hear Toyman and Prankster laughing at you for not being able to stop them, and instead focusing on Brainiac and failing to stop him as well. He will be one of the weakest bosses in the game. He's gonna have giant robots, giant beanbags that turn to teddy bears and you set on them. Prankster is just gonna be a hacker like he was, because that was one of his abilities in the comics. You're gonna build things. He's gonna be a He's gonna be played by the same voicers in the cartoon. What else? Yeah, like when he beats you, you see him standing over your corpse, bouncing a ball, and he sings in a creepy, childlike voice. Step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left, they all fall down. And another one is, oopsie, I guess I played too rough. Let's see if Lex wants to play. Because one of his main goals is getting revenge on Lex for he believes ruining his life and killing his robot wife. That's another thing. I think that Toyman is your version of Mr. Freeze, because Mr. Freeze has a robot wife. No, Toyman has a robot wife and Mr. Freeze has a frozen wife. They're kind of very similar concepts of, well, like, they both have a wife that isn't really there, that they love unconditionally anyway, and that kind of creepiness and loneliness. Like with Batman, he's kind of disgusted. With Superman, he just kind of feels sorry for Toyman. Like, it'd be cool if he was actually, like, he saw him hanging out with Prankster and was like, I'm glad you've actually made some real company instead of just robots to keep his friends. Like, he's not saying that to mock him, he's actually saying that out of, I'm happy for you. The reason Toyman can't just go and kill Lex is because in this version Lex has Bizarro, Livewire, Metallo, and a few others as bodyguards to protect him from Superman and Toyman and just anyone who might come to cross him. It appears that Lex is working with Brainiac for the game, and you don't understand why, because if Lex hates you, he should definitely hate Brainiac. Because he's just as powerful and he's actually everything he fears about you, an alien that wants to take over the world. Meanwhile, Lois is dating this new guy. Everyone seems to like him. They're under his spell. Lois, like, he's charming, he's likable, he's got a bad boy attitude to him. Lois seems to just fall in love with him instantly. But every time someone insults him or gets under his skin, like, bad things happen to them, like, he starts fires randomly. We eventually discover that it's Mix's Pitlick in disguise. This is your first encounter with him. And he tells you the only way he'll go back to the 5th dimension is if you solve his many puzzles, which will be like Riddler challenges. He does things like turn statues alive. Like, he could have the Doomsday statue in the park, and then he just like touches it and the statue comes to life and starts fighting you. That would be a way to naturally incorporate Doomsday into the story without being forced. He can fuck with your powers. He can... When Lex kills you, like the Arkham Maze, he'll say, I guess we know what the bigger man is, or... Now it... Like, what? I don't know, he says something like that. When Parasite drains the life out of you, he just looks disappointed and says, need more. Livewire, I guess, would say something stupid like, shocking, isn't it? Oh, actually got a cool idea for when you fight Toyman. He's got this giant robot, and like you discover that he's powering it with Livewire, and you think she's a hostage. You like shock like a hostage. You break in, you defeat the robot, and you go to grab her and free her. Then she electrocutes you, and then you pass out. And the Toyman turns to her and says, your plan worked perfectly. Which... I don't know if that's a feministy thing to do, of like breaking the trope of damsel in distress. Seems like something the villains would think of and pull off on him perfectly in their character to like to fuck with his morals like that. Bizarro will definitely be a boss. He'd be stronger and more durable than you, and more powerful than you, but also dumber and needs to be outsmarted. Or you can just overpower him sometimes. And my ideas for sequel games... definitely think we should finish the series if we do a series on For the Man Who Was Everything, where he has a big epic showdown with Nixie for the last time. I think that would be a really cool thing. Because he's the only villain you actually still feel like an underdog against. I believe that the animated series and things have ruined Darkseid as a threat, because if he can be beaten by Superman, he's not scary when he goes up against Superman. Oh, and I think the New Gods could be a side mission. There was a Silver Age comic where, okay, for the newspaper, Jimmy's investigating a cult about the New Gods. He goes over his head and ends up being captured by Intergang, who have got technology from New Genesis and Apocalypse, and because of that, they have fantastic abilities that are just great. They worship Highfather and Darkseid. They view them kind of like yin and yang of good and evil, and with a perfect balance. That would be a good way to introduce Wonder Woman and Aquaman by talking about the old gods of, well, the Greek gods like Poseidon and Zeus. I think Manchester Black fits the Arkham style perfectly. He's trapped in the city when the dome closes, and he isn't upset about that, he's happy about that. He is basically what if the Punisher was a Superman villain. And he's like, he came here to kill some, I don't know, corrupt bankers, maybe Lex or someone. And he's like, with the dome closed, you guys are trapped in here with me, I will find you and kill you, and you have to, and now as Superman you have to protect whatever evil criminal he once murdered. I don't know who should voice him. Anybody that can just do a stereotypical British accent. And as for Superman, I definitely think anyone who could, for Clark Kent at least, anyone who could do a Kansas accent, because he grew up in Kansas, and southern accents sound really silly, so I think it would be funny to give him a southern accent. It makes sense for the character, and like, no one takes him seriously. People would like dismiss him just because the sound of his accent. I think that would be kind of funny and true to life. We could have a scene where he's looking at the newspaper and mentions Arkham City and Iron Heights, which would be a good way to tie in the other universes together. Yeah, okay, I think this is how the game will go. Easiest boss, a giant toyman robot. Second boss, Bizarro. He's he's the same powers and abilities as you, so, but he's not very smart. You can outsmart him. You have to stop him from hurting innocents or whatever. When he kills you, he goes, "Me save Lois now," or some vague, confusing backwards thing. I think he's kind of intimidating when he speaks like that. Another character I'd like to see them at least reference is Emperor of America. He's a Golden Age villain who is a cult leader that wants to be basically king of America.
After running more diagnostics,
maybe you could have him be a...
It appears that I can accelerate the upgrading of your arsenal by measuring your combat effectiveness. I have added a tracker to your helmet's display.
You could tie him into New Gods and
the facility will not allow you access to the
Intergang very easily.
unless the demonic threat level is brought down inside the foundry.
The comics haven't used him in a while, so the writers are free to like change things about his backstory and his personality. I think it's a cool idea for a character. His only power is mild hypnosis to get people to persuade people to agree with him. And I like that, the idea of an idiot with charisma. Just like his plan, his goals are stupid and illogical. Just because he has charisma, he can get people to agree with what he's saying. He could look up to Superman like a god, his ultimate role model, and want Superman to join his cause. The reason the new gods would be weak in it is we're going by the Final Crisis version of the character, where they were banished, where the monitors saw them fighting, and they banished them to Earth without any powers to live as normal humans. I think that's good because the way Superman just wants to be a normal human, they're forced to be normal humans and hate it. The new gods are written better when they're written as forced to deal with human crap. Never fight Darkseid and Highfather in at least the first game. Or even Mixie. You just fight his traps and his things and you outsmart him. And force him to say his name backwards or paint his face blue or something. And then he has to return back to his home. Fuck. What else? The achievements, more power from the locomotive, you stop a train crash, faster than a speeding bullet, fly around the city at top speed for over 15 minutes or something. Trophy wife, you stop Mixie from marrying Lois in the 5th dimension. She gives a speech of like, Clark, just because you saved me from Mixie doesn't mean I'm gonna fall in love with you, I'm not some trophy wife. And then the Flash is on screen, achievement unlocked, trophy wife. I think that would be funny, it might get a good reaction out of some people. And then when we explain the joke they're like, oh, they calm down, so I think that would be a good way to wind people up, but not too harmful. Man of Steel, you fight Metallo. You lose fight, beat Bizarro. Yeah, that's all they should do for Superman. For maybe Flash games, I got a few ideas. They could do Flash Iron Heights based on the comic Flash Iron Heights, but instead of his shit villains like Murmur and Double Down in that book, have the actual rogues appear. Like, there's two ways they could do it. They could do the trial of Barry Allen, where you get arrested for murdering Professor Zoom and have to go to jail. Or they could do one where Professor Zoom, with help from Gorilla Grodd and Abracadabra, swaps bodies with you and forces you to go to jail instead of him. That way he gets to be the Flash, but you have to live his life. Obviously, Flash and Superman are more light-hearted, fun, silly characters than Batman, who is more of a dark, edgy, serious character. So I think these games should be comedies, like down to earth human characters. Have the villains not be like. Actually, have the villains be dark, but if we're doing a Flash game, have there be no insanity for Barry, just have him be, this is a major pain in the ass, and then but Zoom will lose because he always loses. Have teams of villains for Flash instead of just one-on-one, like, and have them be able to, the henchmen, oh yeah, I forgot about that. We're gonna have speedsters on Velocity 9, which will be his city's version of Venom. Makes them, I guess, in the game just as fast as you, even though it was only in the early Wally West comics, and when it became a light speedster or multiple times faster than sound speedster, Velocity 9 couldn't do much, and they just stopped using it basically. So in this would just say it makes them faster than you, but it has terrible side effects in the body. So they'll have Velocity 9 henchmen who can tag you. Electric attacks, like Weather Wizards you can't phase through. Disorienting villains that push you off your balance, like the Top and Weather Wizard via Earthquakes. But they give this tech to henchmen, so like maybe the Top gives his henchmen the ability to just make people dizzy. That's not a ridiculous thing for someone to make. Bosses would be more like, remember that scene in the Arkham games when you run down to the jail and you walk past a mirror of yourself. In this, you walk past a mirror, it's a very similar scene, but your reflection jumps out of the mirror, punches you, and multiple reactions of you jump out of the mirror and punch you, and then you end up fighting. Then one of them grabs you and pulls you into the mirror, and you fight Mirror Master. I think it'd be very... It'd be one guy you fight one-on-one, not as a member of the Rogues with henchmen or anything. Another boss is Gorilla Grodd. He is very durable and is psychic, so he can attack from distance. He just mind controls a bunch of civilians into attacking you. These are throwing things at you. The weapons in the game will be... You have a boomerang from Captain Boomerang. That's your first that's a projectile, and you do nod to the Arkham games. There's an achievement of throwing a boomerang as fast as you can, and then chasing after the boomerang and catching it. You need to like have max speed unlocked to pull that off, because the boomerangs were designed literally to hit you. So they're faster than sound, obviously.
Have you filled out your UAC accident?
Rainbow Rider and Shade wants to drain the city of colour and leave it in darkness. They'd be a team up for it. The Rogue's often attacking groups, so Abracadabra will, I don't know, have this shape-shift into someone you love. Who else you fight? The Top, obviously. They do like Rogue War and have a bunch of rogues being mind controlled to work for him. And help us. He could even do a thing where he tries to possess the body of Joker and bring him back from the dead. But then you toss them. But then either you or some other rogue or something destroys the body, saying nope, Joker is staying dead. Or they could actually use that as an excuse to bring him back, but with superpowers. It's a very comic booky thing to do. Like maybe the Top tries to mind control the corpse, but ends up losing his sanity. Grodd, yeah, there be the villains, Gorilla Grodd. See who else. I do not think an Aquaman game would work. I think a Wonder Woman game would work. I'd like to see Section 8 reference in this game. They're
Remember, the blind council is always watching.
like Dog Wielder and Six Pack. The Six Pack is just a guy dressing up like Superman that gets drunk in the bar fights. I think he would actually fit a Superman game well. He has that bit of being like Clark Kent, stories taking place in his head. Well, what else? I do not like Lex having a super suit. I just think it just kind of cheapens the idea of being like having to outsmart Superman if you actually just fist fighted him. I think Lex will be the last boss to, after you beat Brainiac, you will learn that his plan, like he is able to defeat Brainiac because Brainiac is predictable despite being like smarter when it comes to technology and shit. When it comes to people smarts, people that outsmart and manipulate people, no one in DC can match cards with Lex, other than of course Constantine. So Lex is going to be kind of an influenced Brainiac attack as being a mad alien to take over the city, which is he thinks Superman is, and he wants everyone to get an image of what that is. So the Brainiac attack was partly influenced to get everyone to hate you. And then you discover that and you're going to have a last fight with Brainiac, with Lex, and it's probably going to be in his crappy kryptonite armor, which I hate. I think instead they should have, like they did with Arkham City, having Joker ask Clayface to fight you. They should do something similar with Lex, like asking Bizarro or some of his henchmen to attack you. I just don't like the idea of Lex getting his hands dirty and physically beating Superman with his own hands. That kind of defeats the cool aspect of the character.
Your devotion to the UAC's mission on that. We will establish a new paradigm and move
Yeah, let's see what else.
Have you filled out your UAC accidental death and dismemberment form? See Jessica in Human Resources for assistance.
I think that's all I got, so I'm gonna finish recording if I figure out how. How do I stop recording?